Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And the billion-dollar question that everyone has been wondering and wanting to know is, how is Dan Schulman, the new CEO of Verizon, going to turn around the company? So I wanted to talk about that in today's video. The article comes from the Mobile Report. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys could check it out. So Dan, if you're by chance watching, tuning into this video, a lot of work for this new CEO. A lot of work. Some of it clear cut and dry. Some of it, it's going to be a bit bumpy. It's going to be a bit bumpy. You're going to have to, Verizon is still going to have to try to compete. So there's still going to be certain things that have to be introduced to see if it sticks. Because under Hans, what they've done, it hasn't worked. It has not worked under Hans. That's why I said in several videos now, and I'll say it again in this video, this new CEO cannot be the same or even remotely the same as Hans Vestberg. Because why change CEOs? If they're going to stay on the same path, the same direction, no change, then why do you move Hans? Why do you replace him? Because this new CEO is going to take losses after losses. So there has to be change. I think you guys understand that. You guys are smart, right? That follow the channel. Change has to happen. Now, there's going to be probably certain limitations. There's going to be a board of directors that will have to approve some things that Sampath may want to do, that the new CEO may want to implement. So it can't be, oh, I'm going to do this and we'll see if it works. No, they have to go through the board, and the board will probably set certain limitations. Like, yes, we'll allow you to do this, but if you I'm just speculating here, but if you include taxes and fees, then we might have a problem, right? So there will be certain limitations from the board as to how everything is presented and certain moves that Verizon may want to do. The board has the ultimate say-so in a lot of this. As an example, when AT&T introduced new and existing customers get the same phone deals, and they wanted to run that indefinitely, they had to run the approval through the board of directors. That was the only way they were going to get approval. So what I think needs to happen, and it has to be a big change. It can't just be, I mean, we've already gotten a brand refresh. We've gotten a new logo. It can't be that. It has to be a fundamental change, starting at the store level. The new CEO has to remove I think there's now a $35 charge to help you with your problems on your device. If you have an issue and the store rep has to fix it, it's a $35 charge. That needs to go away. Stick to the basics, Verizon. You once were a well-oiled machine, growing every quarter, happy customers, no issues. Why change, right? Oftentimes it goes back to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So remove that. Tell Sampath to remove that stuff. Let's get back to the basics. Let's get people back into the stores. Let's get consumers happy. Let's change the NPS scores. Starts with that, and then work your way to the top, right? Your leadership, they need different directive. They need motivation again. There's been a lot of losing. Customers are going left and right. Anything you implement in terms of the pricing lever, it's an immediate churn bubble. And as far as convergence, you guys are going to have to budge there too. If you guys are going to stick with the mindset, well, we don't need to discount our products, you're going to lose. AT&T is implementing discounts. If T-Mobile takes convergence a little more serious, they're likely to set discounts. They already do it through FWA. So you guys will have to hop on that train. Because if you don't, it's going to be more losses. And it's going to be harder for you to grab share in the market. So I think ultimately the change that'll have to come from Verizon is very drastic. So I don't want to make this video too long, because the network is clearly there. We can see it. They have a network. They have built out a mid-band that is at scale today. There's more sites needed, of course, but that's coming. So not much to talk about on network. You guys know my stance. I still think Verizon will have the best 5G network once it's all said and done. But the company needs a drastic change. And to be quite honest, I don't know if Dan Schulman's tenure will be long enough to really drive that change. I think he's a stopgap. I think he's a fill-in. I think there's going to be someone else that's like a true succession planning that they have in mind. I'm hoping it's Sampath, but it could be anyone. It could be an external hire. I don't know. I think Dan Schulman, I mean, yes, he has experience. He has expertise. There's a chart here. He's been at PayPal, T-Mobile. He's worked at AT&T for an extended period. But I just don't know if he's the right choice, if he's the right answer to solve Verizon's problem. Verizon needs a drastic change. It has to be almost disruptive of a change for Verizon, I think, to get back into the green, to start growing comfortably, to not have to use the pricing lever as much. Because if you don't grow, you have to keep using the pricing lever, and that loses you more and more customers. And then cannibalizing your postpaid business pretty much with all these MVNO brands, and then you're striking deals with cable players. I just don't think that was the right way to go about it. That's a topic for probably another video. But like I said, you guys have heard me say this consistently. The brands need to consolidate. TracFone, Total Wireless, all that needs to be consolidated into one. There's too many of the value brands that are trying to compete with different go-to markets. That's just too much. There's too much swapping the same customer back and forth. Consolidate, get the company back on the right track. Compete a little. If you have to include taxes and fees, do that. You have to compete and start taking your share again. You got to start doing it. But Dan Schulman has his work cut out. Again, the billion-dollar question that many want to know, even internally, how is he going to turn around the company? What's his strategy? What's on his mind to make change at Verizon without it being too disruptive? Like a price decrease, like many are like, oh, Verizon's going to have to come down on price. I don't know if that's the answer, but something's got to change for the company to get back into the green. Because I've shown you guys recently, as of the second quarter, most of the segments are trending down. And if that has accelerated in the third quarter, then that's a really bad problem. But again, not to make this video too long, because there's just too much that Verizon would need to change. They need a drastic change across the board. I mean, this new CEO is going to have to get all the leadership involved, the vice presidents, the regional presidents. They need a cultural change from the top to the bottom. It needs to be a big one. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you guys think needs to be changed at Verizon. Let us know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.